Hi, today I'm going to be explaining to you the things that we have learned in AP World History so far. First off, the Song Dynasty. The Song Dynasty was a time in China when people were really smart, rich, and peaceful. They invented cool things, grew a lot of food like champa rice, and made China strong and organized. Confucianism. Confucianism is an idea started by a man named Confucius. It teaches people to be kind, respect their parents, listen to elders, and follow rules to keep society in peace and happy. Taoism. Taoism is about loving nature, staying calm, and going with the flow of life. People believe you should simply relax, not worry about too much things, and be chill. Five relationships. Five relationships has to do with Confucius. Confucius said that there are five important relationships. First off, parents and kids. Kids respect their parents. Ruler and people. Number two, they obey the ruler. Number three, older brother and younger brother. Younger ones look up to the older ones. Number four, husband and wife. They help each other. And friends, you treat them kindly. These relationships help everyone get along. The next one is the filial piety. I'm not really good at pronouncing that, but this basically means loving, listening to, and taking care of your parents and grandparents. It's a very important part of Chinese culture. Next, the imperial bureaucracy. You might notice this from Mulan. This is a team of smart people chosen to help the emperor run a huge country. They made sure people followed the laws and they did their jobs correctly because the empires were too big for one ruler to make sure everyone was doing what they wanted. Next up is inventions by the Song Dynasty. The Song Dynasty, like I said, was a time in China where everything was just popping up. Everything was just so good. The Song Dynasty invented some good things like paper money to trade easily, the printing press to make books faster, gunpowder for fireworks and guns, and compasses for sailing ships. Compasses are those things that you use so you can see where you're going. Next, champa rice. Champa rice came from the Song Dynasty, and champa rice is a special type of rice that grows very quickly, even in places with little water. It helped feed lots of people, and so no one went hungry. Next up is Buddhism, another religion like Confucianism. Buddhism is a peaceful religion where people try to live kindly, be humble, and not want too many things. The goal is to reach nirvana, a perfect state of mind with peacefulness and no worries. Back to Confucianism, we have Neo Confucianism. Neo Confucianism is a mix of three ideas: Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, or Taoism. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It gave people rules for life, but also helped them keep peace and understanding. I'm on call with Robert right now, so if you can hear Robert, I apologize. Theravada versus Mahayana Buddhism. Theravada Buddhism focuses on strict rules, mostly for monks. Mahayana Buddhism, on the other hand, is easier to follow, and anyone can try to live a better life. Anyone can reach that enlightenment. Next is the Chinese Civil Service exam. That sounds really big. This is also known as meritocracy. I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. So, in China, people had to take these really hard tests in order to get a good job so they can pay and take care of their family. And if they scored well, they could get good jobs, no matter what family they were born to. The Abbasid Caliphate. The Abbasid Caliphate was a big Muslim empire with big cities, cultures, and people. It was famous for learning art and helping science grow. Next up is the Seljuk Empire. Seljuk. That sounds a little silly. Well, the Seljuk Empire was a powerful Muslim empire that protected trade routes, fought wars, and helped Islam spread across many lands. Scientific and mathematical achievements of Dar al Islam. During this time, Muslim scholars, smart people, invented new ways to do math, understand stars, build hospitals, treat sick people, and they also invented the idea of the number zero and algebra. Next is Baghdad, House of Wisdom. Ooh. The House of Wisdom in Baghdad was a giant library, and people who were smart. Oh, it was a place where smart people went to study, write books, share ideas about math, science, and the world. Next up, Islam. Islam is a religion, just like Buddhism, Neo Confucianism, Hinduism, Christianity. It's a religion. And Islam is a religion where people believe in one God, and they call him Allah. They pray, help others, and follow rules like fasting during Ramadan and being kind to everyone. Another religion? Hinduism. Hinduism is one of the oldest religions. People believe in reincarnation, where you are born again into a new life, and depending on how bad or good you were in your past life, that's what would bring your social class. For example, if you were a mean, bad person, you're going to be poor in your next life. And nobody likes being poor. Everybody likes money. So, yeah. Next up, we have Sufism. Sufism is a peaceful part of Islam that focuses on loving God and feeling close to Him. People often use music or dancing and poetry, like writing, to express their love for God. I always get this word wrong, but it's called Sriwijaya Empire. We're going to botch that. The Sriwijaya Empire was a rich kingdom in Southeast Asia that controlled ocean trade when people would go over the ocean to trade goods. It made lots of money by trading goods like spices and gold and silk. And you guys remember that gold and silk was very important during this time. Next up, we have Hindu's impact on Southeast and South Asia. Hinduism influenced many cultures in Southeast and South Asia. It created a social system called the caste system. So the caste system was a triangle, not a literal triangle, but it was what they call a hierarchy, which organized people into different groups. And at the bottom of that triangle were all of the people that were poor and had no money. But at the top of that triangle was all the rich people. And like I said before, if you were bad in your past life, that means that you were going to have a low income. But if you're a good person, well, you are at the top of that pyramid. And everyone wants to be at the top. Who wants to be at the bottom, right? Next up, we have the Mexica, which was the Aztecs. The Mexica, also called the Aztecs, built big cities in Mexico. They made temples, grew crops on floating gardens, and they had powerful armies. Next up is the Inca. Oh my god, wait. Hold on, I gotta make sure you're comfortable. Okay, next up was the Inca. The Inca built their empire in the mountains of South America. They made stone roads, grew food on terraces, and created amazing stone buildings without cement. Right here, I have my little script because I'm like kind of bad at this. Okay, then we have the Maya city-states. The Maya city-states. Okay, wait. Give me a second. The Maya built cities with tall pyramids in Central America. They were like super smart at math, made calendars, and they studied the stars. Another thing is Great Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe was a big stone city in Africa. Kings lived there, and people traded gold, ivory, and goods with other countries. Another new one I learned was Ethiopia. Ethiopia was a Christian kingdom in Africa with beautiful churches, strong rulers, and it stayed independent and had its own arts and traditions. Next up, feudalism. Feudalism was a system where kings gave land to the lords. Lords gave land to the knights, and farmers worked the land in exchange for safety. It was basically like, hey, I'll give you this, you give me that, they give me that, they give me this. Everyone kind of helped each other, you know? Next up, we have manneralism. Manneralism was about farming and living on a manor, a big farm. Farmers grow food in the land. No, grow food for the Lord in return for protection. Yeah, you know, like farming just so you could protect me. Next up, we have the role of the Catholic Church in medieval Europe. So, the Catholic Church was the center of life in Europe. It taught people about God, gave them hope, and it helped organize society. Next, serfdom. Serfs were poor farmers who worked on Lord's land. They weren't free to leave. They had to give their Lord part. They had to give the Lord part of the food that they grew. And it was just really sad. That they were like at the bottom. You know that triangle we had? Yeah, they were at the bottom of that triangle. They weren't. Yeah. Then we have the role of the Roman Catholic Church on medieval Europe society. Give me a second. The Roman Catholic Church was super important. It helped people believe in God, taught them rules for life, and it gave them hope whenever life was hard. Another one, the Byzantine Empire, a big one. So, the Byzantine Empire came after the Roman Empire. It was rich, powerful, and famous for its arts, big cities and churches. Next, we have the Greek Orthodox. This type of Christianity started in the Byzantine Empire. It's similar to the Roman Catholicism. I don't know how to say that. But it has different rules and traditions. So, like, they're the same, but kind of off, you know? Then, another thing. You know how they're the same? Yeah, but they never mixed together. That's what led to the Great Schism. The Great Schism was when the Christian church split into two parts. The Roman Catholic Church in the West and the Greek Orthodox Church in the East. And next, we have the Crusades. The Crusades were wars where Christian soldiers traveled far to fight for control of the Holy Land, which was Jerusalem at that time. I hope you understood my presentation. I had to use a Google Doc so I could keep my mind organized because I will start yapping for hours. I apologize that this was 13 minutes long, and I have no younger siblings, so I have no idea how to talk to a 6-year-old, but I hope I made this good. Thank you, and I hope you actually watched all of this. I love you, Miss Osagira. Bye-bye.